You are looking live.
Here comes the play. Goodman at the free throw line. Jumper.
He broke his ankles. He is Houdini.
Mickey Mantle don't care about you, so why should you care about him? Nobody cares.
That's not a good call. No.
You don't like that call.
I don't like that call.
Woo, 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 woo. Not so fast.
So bottom line is, let's get to Dalvin Cook. And a lot has come out regarding the Minnesota Vikings running back Dalvin Cook in the past few days. And what I'm about to outline here is all actions that date back to November of last year, so around this time last year. And according to Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk, Dalvin Cook is facing civil allegations of assault and battery against former girlfriend Gracelyn Trimble. Currently, the NFL is not taking any action at this time. They're not taking any action at this time. However, the NFL said that they will continue to monitor the situation. According to Tom Pelissero from NFL Network, Dalvin Cook's attorney, David Valentini, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, filed a statement on Tuesday stating that Trimble broke into Cook's home and assaulted him and his two house guests. There are 3 counts in the lawsuit: battery, assault, and false imprisonment. According to the lawsuit, Trimble alleges in the battery count that Cook intentionally struck Trimble multiple times. The assault count alleges that Cook intended to cause imminent apprehension of offensive contact when he repeatedly threatened to kill her while pointing a gun at her head. In the final count of false imprisonment, Trimble alleges Cook, quote, intended to confine, quote, her when he picked her up and would not let her leave. Conversely, Valentini's statement alleges that Trimble entered Cook's home with a stolen garage door opener and proceeded to punch Cook and spray him and the house guests with mace. Trimble also forced Cook and his guests at gunpoint to remain in his residence for the next several hours, according to Valentini. Trimble's suit reads that she attempted to spray Cook with mace to defend herself, but was overpowered. What is going on in the NFL? I mean, first Henry Ruggs last week, and we've had all kinds of other wild stuff going on this year, and now this, like, what is going on? And this kind of is going to kind of tie into what I'm going to say in the next segment, is, like, we have NFL players who have assaulted people, allegedly, Dalvin Cook, sexually assaulted women, Deshaun Watson, killing people in drunk driving, Henry Ruggs, who, like, and Ruggs has got released from the team, and he's most likely going to be in jail. Like, we get it. And there's countless other players that over the years have had, DUIs. They've had, loaded guns on them without having the proper documentation for it. They've, had, they're breaking into homes. They're assaulting people, like, and yet they stay in the league. Like, what's the NFL doing? I thought we were changing the image around the NFL. And yet these guys, like, we have all this stuff that's allegedly happening, and I understand that you never want to make, like, a quick knee-jerk decision with something that is allegedly happening, but at any other job, if you have something that is, like, allegedly against you, like, if you come into work and it's saying, hey, I may or may not have a sexual assault case against me, you're probably going to get suspended indefinitely from your job until we figure out what in the world is going on. They're not going to say, okay, that's fine, go take your seat and get to work. We're not going to take any action at this time. We'll monitor the situation. That probably isn't what's going to happen, at least from what I understand in real world jobs other than the NFL. And yet we're focusing our attention and energy on a player, like, over the past few weeks. Like, all this stuff's been going on. We had a guy on social media who had loaded guns pointing to the screen saying, I'm going to shoot you and whatever, and he got released and all, like, but people just kind of, like, brush that off. So, okay, yeah, whatever. Okay, whatever. And we have all this other stuff that happens in the NFL, and yet we focus all of our attention and energy on a player who didn't get vaccinated due to an allergy, and he had 500 pages of research and consultation with doctors, and because he misled people to believe he was vaccinated. That's what we're focusing all our energy on when we have a guy last week that killed people in a drunk driving incident. And I'm going to get to that later. But, like, the whole NFL cares and the whole NFL is changing the image. It's just, it's ridiculous. It is just an absolute ridiculous buzz phrase and just words that are trying to deceive you into thinking that they really care. Because if they did, they'd say, oh, whoa, let's pump the brakes here on this whole thing. Dalvin, we're going to take you off the, we're going to kind of take you off the team. We're going to suspend you indefinitely until we figure out what's going on. And we're going to try to figure this thing out. And with Deshaun Watson, the NFL and the Houston Texans have been, and, the Texans, whether it's, they're not going to play him or Watson doesn't want to play for them, whatever's going on there. Bottom line is he's not playing, but he's still getting paid. He's still getting paid. He's still getting a check at the end of the day. And the NFL has been dragging their feet on this. And this is nothing new with Watson. This isn't like, oh, this just happened last week. This has been going on since March. And whoever's investigating this, they're dragging their feet. The NFL is dragging their feet. And they're just kind of like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. No. Let's take a look at what's going on over here with Aaron Rodgers, though. Let's worry about that. And so, I just don't get it. I thought the NFL was changing. And yet more and more things, with assault and sexual assault and DUI and all this stuff is happening. And as far as I'm concerned, nothing's changing. This is the same stuff from 10 years ago. Nothing's changing. And, I understand, like I said, there's a lot going on in this lawsuit. Did the girlfriend assault Cook? Did Cook assault the girlfriend? There's a lot going on here, but maybe we shouldn't let the guy play, right? What happens if this thing explodes? And what happens if this thing really breaks out huge and it comes out that Dalvin Cook did some really, really bad things? We're gonna look back at this and say, oh my God, they let him play. They continued to let him play when this was happening. And again, this is what disgusts me about the NFL, is that it's not just Dalvin Cook. It's not just Josh Gordon. It's not just Deshaun Watson. This has been a theme over my entire time watching the NFL. There's always something like this going on, and yet nothing really ever happens. Nothing really ever changes. And that is just something that really disappoints me on the NFL. So I just wanted to kind of, because again, this is one of those things, I saw this break news on Dalvin Cook, and then after that it kind of got swept under the rug a little bit. Nobody's talking about this. So I kind of wanted to come out and say, hey, May, hey, blinker, alert, more stuff's going on that nobody cares about. And this is potentially big stuff. So again, this is just another instance of things that just happen that nobody wants to realize, nobody wants to talk about, and it is really bad things going on. So I hope that the NFL makes the right decision on this. I hope that whichever party is in the wrong in this gets their fair trial, gets their fair due, gets their fair punishment. Because, again, if Cook really did some bad things, we cannot have a player like that in the NFL. Just can't. No excuse. And again, I thought we were changing the image around the NFL. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Dalvin Cook. I love to be up here as some optimist and say, oh yeah, this is where we turn things around. I'm gonna be, I could tell you that the grass is always greener on the other side, but based on what I've seen in recent years and recent similar things, I have no reason to believe that anything else is gonna happen. And I don't know. I have no reason to believe that anything different is gonna happen than what we've seen over the past 10 years with similar things. I think that this is going to be swept under the rug, and Dalvin Cook's just going to continue to play. And that's that. Maybe he gets a 2-game suspension and that's it, but I don't know. It is very, very frustrating when things like this happen, and the NFL just kind of, brushes it off as some nothing burger.
Shut up and sit down.